Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Lexus LS 430. This particular car is registered BL03NXK, and the mileage at the start of the road test is 133,267 miles. The reason for the road test is very simple. We want customers to see the cars in operation that we're selling. That way we can feedback any issues there may be with the car, and we do that, so that people can be aware of what there might be or might not be on the car prior to coming to see us. The road test is also done on the same roads locally, just outside our premises, so hopefully it will be representative of what anybody would feel themselves. So a brief background to this particular car. The lady that part exchanged this one bought a much lower mileage LS 430 from me. She absolutely adores them. They are truly wonderful cars. But sorry, I got distracted because I've seen a van hovering around, so I'm making a mental note of a registration number, so I do apologise. So it was a given that she wanted to go for the next one. She absolutely loves them. Only reason for changing is obviously this is done a much higher mileage, and she just wanted a younger car to see her through another sort of 10 or 15 years. On this particular vehicle, as I said, this is a kind of a video that will pick up on any sort of any issues at all with the vehicle. I don't normally do the videos on what we call our part exchanges, or the part exchange to clear, because they're sold as trade basically. But I wanted this one to be seen in operation. It is certainly at the time of doing this video by a country mile the cheapest LS 430 in the country, and there's others which are sort of £700-800 dearer than this, but with approaching or exceeding over 200,000 miles. The only issue with this vehicle that I can see mechanically, and there is no issue in effect, is it's got an EML light on, engine management light. The lady tells me, and I've no reason to disbelieve her, that the light has been on for a long time, and it doesn't affect the drive in any way, shape or form. What I normally do with EML lights on the dearer cars, the retail cars, is obviously get them looked at and dealt with, and it's nearly always, but not always, but nearly always, things like oxygen sensors, little sort of exhaust sensors, checking CO2 and that kind of stuff. Fundamentally, we had a car which we drove for about 7 or 8 years with an EML light on, and it made no difference to the car, only if the engine doesn't idle properly, doesn't rev properly, doesn't produce the power it should, or isn't producing the economy it should you really attend to it, but in our opinion. And this one starts absolutely on the button, very smooth, idles absolutely as smooth as you like, pulls to its rev range sweet as a nut, and as quiet as a church mouse. It really is a fantastic engine, and I just can't, it's hard to differentiate between this and the one that she bought from us, in any way. It really is. It pulls absolutely beautifully, but as I said, we do let people know, and that's why we've done the video today. But the engine is, it seems to us to be absolutely spot on. Car changes gear really nicely. It's very quiet in here. These are wonderfully refined cars. The car rides astonishingly well. It's very smooth riding. It certainly isn't a sports car, but that doesn't mean it falls apart in the corners. You turn into a corner like this, and with air suspension, it kind of holds its line very nicely and holds its attitude very well indeed. You certainly can't get away from the fact that it is big, but this is a car which is all about cruising, and cruising very comfortably indeed. And it is one of the finest cars I've ever driven. They are utterly brilliant. Coming back to the mechanics of the car and everything else, steering of the car nice and positive. There's no sort of slack that I can feel in it at all. Likewise with the suspension, I'm just looking for signs of kind of wear, especially with a car that's exceeded 100,000 miles. You might have a few little sort of age-related sort of clonks and clumps from underneath, which you'd readily expect. But there's nothing. It's really, really quiet on the suspension. There's no kind of mechanical noises, which suggests that any kind of bushing or otherwise is in very, very fine order indeed. Just going to swing around here, pretty much at the halfway point. So yeah, in terms of kind of the ride and the steering and the suspension, all very, very good. Brakes, a lovely solid brake pedal on the car. It's, you know, you hit the brakes and it comes down to pulls its nose down straight and true. But it all seems very solid indeed. Obviously, as I was referred to, and it is a very quiet car. That can obviously be easily ruined if you've got a seal, a sunroof seal or windscreen seal or door seal, which has been sort of scagged and allowing wind hiss in. But it's, you know, it's absolutely, you know, bank vault quiet in here. It really is. Looking around the interior of the car, it's in lovely condition. Really, really nice car. Any signs of wear and tear are absolutely tiny. There's no squeaks, there's no rattles, there's nothing in it. I mean, it is simply the best built car I've ever driven in my life. These are amazingly built cars, these LSs, they really are. Everything, you know, the air conditioning is working perfectly, pumps out lovely cold air. Sat nav, as you can see there, is working exactly as it should. Parking sensors work perfectly well on the car as well, because I checked those out. Heated seats, because I've got them on there today. It's a chilly old day today, and certainly in the driver's seat here, that it's working exactly as it's intended to. As I said, the point of the video really is just to show the car in operation. We normally do longer videos on the dearer retail cars, but because, you know, the EML light is showing, I wanted the car to be shown in operation so you can actually see it for yourselves. But it generally, you know, if you're coming to see it, it does drive really, really nicely, this car. Obviously, if you've got any other questions about the vehicle, you know, you're welcome to give us a call, and we'll obviously happily answer any questions you might have about the car.